The month of March has begun, and we're going to look at the top 10 comic book sales on eBay during the month of April. There were some really strong performers for high grade keys. Let's take a look up next on this video from Bronzeville Comics. Hey there, comic book community, or shall I say panelologists. This is Jim from Bronzeville Comics coming to you with another video. And please like, comment, subscribe, do all the great stuff. I'm going to do my 4,000 subscriber giveaway very soon. Also, follow us on the other socials, Instagram, Bronzeville_comics, whatnot, Bronzeville_comics, where we do sales every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're not yet signed up with whatnot, you can click on the link in the description of this video and it will give you $10 off your first purchase, regardless of who it is with. Doesn't have to be with me. Also, in the description for this video is a link to my eBay store and my email. So every month I break down the top 10 comic book sales. And there's some interesting ones. We kind of see if it was good for the seller, if it's good for the buyer, or it's curious. There really isn't anything bizarre here, which we have seen in some past months. But you know, some of the usual suspects, a modern, I guess a Copper Age book, a Golden Age book, and a Bronze Age book, and a bunch of silver. So up first on the list is an interesting sale. I think it was the best offer accepted, but it's listed in eBay as a sale of $22,000 for Amazing Fantasy 15, the first appearance of Spider-Man, in a CGC 2.5 conserved label. That's higher than the most recent Heritage Blue Label sale of $21,600 and the most recent eBay sale in grade of $19,500. Okay, let's take a look here. Conservation includes leaf casting to cover and interior, cover cleaned. Pages 13, 14, and 15 are married, which is unusual. I'm trying to think how that works. Because if it's page 13, 14, and 15, there should be like an entire wrap married, or is it like, are they only counting? That doesn't make sense. Which pages? I'm not sure which pages it refers to that are married. Now, I don't know if, and also it's not a particularly well-presenting 2.5. There's a lot of damage at the top of the book, a lot of creasing through the trade dress. The Spider-Man image is pretty solid, and I've seen other 2.5s where most of the damage is on the spine and maybe around the edges that just present better than this. But I have to believe that this was a best offer accepted for a lot less than this, because this would have been a healthy sale for a blue label. Now, the thing with conserved is the label actually is blue, but with a gray stripe at the top, and I'm wondering if that was a buyer who wasn't aware of that distinction, because there is a difference between restored and conserved. Conserved is where the work that's been done on it can be easily removed, and that's the case with leaf casting. Cover cleaned is considered conservation, and marriage is considered conservation if it is done in a certain way. It is not restoration, and a conserved book, especially of this caliber, should be selling for a fraction, probably at best 60% of fair market value of a blue label. But hey, it is an Amazing Fantasy 15, and maybe some collector got their hands on it. But I'm hoping that for the buyer's sake that it was the best offer accepted on that book, and they did not pay over fair market value for a conserved label. If they did, I have a Fantastic Four or 5 they might be interested in. Number 9 is on the list. This is a really interesting sale. Because it's the only sale on the list, which is a sale of, and it's a lot, it's a sale of raw books. Journey into Mystery 83, 84, and 85, the first three appearances of Thor, the first appearance of Jane Foster, and the first appearance of Loki. And the books, and I'll throw the pictures up here, the books look nice. They were advertised to be in fine plus for 83, fine for 84, and very fine for 85. Just taking a cursory look at the pictures, I think that might be somewhat accurate. In which case, I think that the buyer paid kind of fairly for it, but took a little bit of a gamble because most of the value is in 83, the first appearance of Thor. That book, though, there is some price compression in that mid-grade. The fair market value, according to Go Collect, for a 6.0 is $18,000. Or the most recent sale, and the most recent sale of a 5.0 is $19,000. So let's say if that comes back a 6.0, it's an $18,000 book. In fine-ish range, graded, 84 is about a $2,000 book, and 85, which looks to be the nicest of the three, the first appearance of Loki, in that 6.0 range is about a $5,000 book. You add that all together, you're talking about a $25,000 graded value. And the 83 definitely needs some cleaning and pressing. It looked like maybe they wrote on the inside of the cover, which could affect the grade, because there seemed to be some indentations of something written in cursive on that. I'm going to see if I can find a picture of that. It might have been worth the gamble if the 83 can come out a little bit higher grade than a 6.0. Right now Thor keys are a little cold, although Loki keys are heating up as the series is soon to come out. And we're going to look, if I'm looking at the fair market value according to Go Collect, you're talking about they have a fair market value of $18,500 for a 5.0, $19,000 for a 5.5, $19,500 for a 6.0. So there is price compression there. I think those 5.0 and 5.5s might be a little bit elevated because there aren't there's only like one sale in a 5.5 in the last 90 days. Then a 6.5 has a fair market value of $21,000, a 7.0 $28,000. So if they can get a little bit better grade than they expected, that might be quite the financial windfall in terms of the value of the book. But what's interesting is if you look at the Thor, the 183, right? Yeah, and I'll take a picture of this. I'll show it on camera. This is the bottom right-hand corner. It definitely looks like that there's like writing indentations, but they're backwards, almost like somebody wrote on the inside front cover, and there are no pictures of the inside front cover here. If I'm looking at that, and the seller highlighted that, did they make any notes? Writing on inside front cover is the only catch, but it appears it doesn't affect a straight fine CGC grade or even an old school letter Overstreet grade. So, yeah, it looks like there's writing. That can be pressed out so that it's not as obvious, but it's still there on the inside front cover. Let me know in the comments if you have... I haven't had any experience with books that have had that particular defect of writing on the inside front cover, how that affects the grade. So that could be a little bit of a gamble. And if the buyer is intending on having these graded, I hope they submitted the paperwork 2 days ago before CGC raised their prices, or they're spending several $100, like $200 or $300 more, as the cost in the unlimited value tier went from 3% of fair market value up to 4% of fair market value. So if you're talking about $25,000 worth of books, you're talking about $250 more you'd have to pay in that extra value. You're talking about $1,000 in grading fees for just those 3 books. So beautiful books, and books that are hard to get in high grade. And if you're a serious collector of Thor, it might have been worth a gamble just to get books in that high a grade. Let's move on to number 8 on the list. And this, I think, is another really strong sale. It's Fantastic Four #1 in a CGC 4.0 that sold for $23,000. Now, the previous sale of a 4.0 was earlier in the month, on April 4th, of $18,000. So $5,000 more. And this is the highest sale since the record price of a 4.0 of $26,400. So this is one of the books, and there are a few books on here that are showing real strong bounce back, really. I think with Guardians of the Galaxy coming up, being released the same day I'm releasing this video, a lot of excitement about the MCU. We know that the Fantastic Four is coming. We're hearing casting rumors all the time. Adam Driver and who was it? Kirsten Bell, Margot Robbie, Mila Kunis. I'm thinking if Mila Kunis plays the Thing, I'm thinking Ashton Kutcher will play Sue Storm. But this is a strong sale, I think. So that's interesting, and it's not an outlier in this list. Let's go to number 7 on the list. The second appearance of this particular issue, Amazing Fantasy number 15 in a CGC 3.0 blue label that sold for $24,500. Auction, 1 bid. There was a sale about $2,000 higher for $26,400 in March. So this was a good deal for the buyer. I would much rather have had the CGC 3.0 for $24,500 than the 2.5 conserved for potentially $22,000. The record sale was in April of 2022, a year ago, for $48,000. So this is about a 50% haircut on that. This is actually the lowest sale price of an Amazing Fantasy 15 and a CGC 3.0 since February of 2021, just before the comic boom. So you do have that dichotomy. Here was a great sale. I think the thing here is, and you see this, if you look at auctions versus fixed price for reasonably sized keys, I'm talking about $200 keys and up, it seems as though people are getting deals on the auctions. This is an auction, I think, the pretty good deal. And we're going to see something similar in number 6. Number 6 is a copy of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1. This is the most recent book on the list. It's the first printing. It's a CGC 9.4 blue label, and it indicates on the label that there's the names written. They don't say their signatures, but they're most likely signatures. Names written on the inside of the interior of the book. I think it says on the inside front cover. I don't think it says on the splash page of Eastman and Laird both signed the book. This sold at auction with 62 bids for $24,600. The exact same day, a regular blue label without any signatures. Now, once you encapsulate it like this, when the signatures are on the interior, you're never going to see the signatures again. You only see the notation that they're there. So if you're a signature person, I don't know. But the same day, a book sold on Heritage for $4,200 more, $28,800 sale. This was the lowest sale of a TNMT 1 first print in 9.4 since May of 2019. So you have 2 straight books, the AF-15 and the TMNT 1, that both sold low. Let's go to what's more of a push. Number 5 on the list, Incredible Hulk #1 in a CGC 4.0, which sold for $28,000. The last sale in December was $27,028, and that's down from the high in July of last year of $38,400 in grade of 4.0. First appearance of the Hulk, hard book to find. A 4.0 is a decent grade in this book. So I think this was a good deal. I think it was a good deal for both buyer and seller. It was a fair price, not too high, not too low. So I think, you know, the fact that it's up even a little bit from December is a good sign overall for the market for these keys. So, you know, gives some faith in that book and in books overall. Let's go to number 4 on the list, and this is our Lone Golden Age book. And it is a copy of Marvel Mystery Comics number 2. Second appearance of the Human Torch. I guess the third appearance of Submariner. And here on the cover, it's a Vision cover. I'm not sure who the cover artist is. It's probably Paul Gustafson. He was the artist on the... I'm sorry, that's the Angel, not the Vision. Angel. Now, it's a restored professional grade, 7.0, off-white to white pages. And it says here, professional restoration includes extensive amount of color touch and pieces added to cover, extensive amount of pieces added to interior, small amount of color touch on interior, reinforced spine splits, tear seals, cover cleaned. A lot of work done to this, including pieces added. This, by the way, sold for $32,750. Hard book because to get comps on, because there are very few of them. It doesn't sell that often. It's a CBCS book, so it's restored. So it's hard to get a comp. The most recent sale in any grade was in 2020, where a 4.5 sold for $9,400. So to me, that indicating that this is a pretty robust sale for considering it's CBCS and it's restored. But, you know, they're not making any more of these. There are a total of 50 on the CGC census. Only 29 of the 50 are universal blue labels. 20 are restored, and 1 is qualified. So, yeah, there's not a lot of it. And CBCS, there's no census data available, at least according to Go Collect. I don't have a CBCS account, so I'm going to assume there aren't many on there. You're talking about a census count of 50? That is a hard book to find. It is, I believe, it should be from 1939. Yeah, November 39. So November, December cover date. It's an old book. Hard to find book. I think what would detract from this is that it is an Angel cover as opposed to either Human Torch or Submariner, or both, who are more popular characters. But I think this was a good deal for this seller. Let's move on to number 3 on the list. Number 3 is a Bronze Age classic, and this is a really robust sale. It was a fixed price sale of Batman 251 in a CGC 9.8. I just want to make sure. Let me. There's one other piece of information we want with that, right? It is 9.8 white pages. This classic Neil Adams Joker cover. This is one of my all-time favorite books. But $33,000 is really a good sale. It is, yep, it was a fixed price, and that's what it went for. And wow, the previous sale of a 9.8 was last May for $35,000, and the most recent 9.8 sale before that was $11,100 in 2021. Now, by comparison, a 9.6 sold in March for $4,680. You're talking about a 7x increase from a 9.6 to a 9.8 of this book. Now, this is a coveted book. It's one of the most popular Adams covers. It's I think maybe after or with Batman 227, probably the most popular Batman Bronze books. What, for me, the covers are both iconic. What puts this book a step ahead for me, even though the 227 is 2 years older, is that this is an interior story by Adams as well. I believe the 227, the interiors are done by Irv Novick. And population, there are only 26 9.8s on the census out of over 3,000 Universal Blue Labels. 2 Signature Series 9.8s. So a hard book to find in a 9.8, 1973. I would love to have this, but I do not have $33,000 to spend on a 1973 comic book. And I'm not sure it's a great investment because it's, to me, this I think is a good deal for the seller. It's such an increase over a 9.6. I understand the premium of a 9.8 and 9.8 white pages of this comic, but man, that is a healthy sale. And actually 1 and 2 on this list are healthy sales. Number 2 on the list is Amazing Spider-Man number 1, the first of the ongoing series, second appearance of Spider-Man. And of course, I think it's the first appearance of Flash Thompson and the Chameleon. In a CGC 6.5, sold a fixed price for $38,500, which is a really robust sale. I just want to verify that is what it sold for. I believe it is. It was a fixed price, and it wasn't a best offer accepted, I do not think. The previous sale of a 6.5 was in March, just a month ago, for $25,875. So you're talking almost a $13,000 increase in the price from 1 month to the next. That's crazy. And the record for this book, let me find this on Go Collect, in a 6.5. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was a best offer accepted, and we're not exactly sure. It might have been. Let's try a 6.5. No, it is a verified fixed price sale, $38,500, which is a record. A record for a 6.5. $100 more than the previous record from January of 2022. So that is exceedingly healthy. Right? And the previous record was a Heritage. Usually you don't see eBay with sales as high for these big blue chip keys, just because people bring more money and they have more trust in Heritage. You really have to know who your seller is when you're buying on eBay. When you buy from Heritage, you know that Heritage has the book in possession, regardless of who owns the book. Heritage has it in their possession. Yeah, so this came from Canada. It came from a seller with a feedback rating of just 173. All positive ratings, but man, I would be biting my fingernails until this arrives safely at my door. But that is a robust sale. Now, the last book on the list, the biggest sale, it seems to be a best offer accepted. It was listed at fixed price for $52,500. I'm not sure what it sold for, but it is an Incredible Hulk number 1 in a CGC 5.5 that sold for somewhere under, I guess, $52,500. The record for this book in this grade was $54,000 in May of last year, and the last sale in January of 2023 was for $31,200. Yeah, we're not exactly sure what this went for. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's a glitch, but eBay I'm not getting the crossouts of the best offer accepted sales. So, yeah, it doesn't list it on. It lists it as a sale, as a best offer accepted on Go Collect. Again, hard book to find in grade, $1,400. A 5.5 puts you about in the top 20% of that book, of those graded. So we're not exactly sure what the price was, but a hard book to find, a premium blue chip Silver Age Marvel key. Just a great book to have. It's second time it's appearing on this list. We got 2 Incredible Hulk 1s and 2 Amazing Fantasy 15s this week. We got a copper, a bronze, and a gold, and as well as 7 silvers. And like I said, with the Batman 251 and the Amazing Spider-Man 1, even the Marvel Mystery Comics 1, they conserved Amazing Fantasy 15, if that price is to be believed. Healthy sales. healthy sales. It looks like the sales of best offers or fixed price were strong. The auctions tended to lean towards the buyer rather than the seller. So that's it for this list. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Do you think any of these look fishy? We don't have any completely ridiculous sales on here. I think they're all reasonable. And do you think that there are more strong sales coming for these big books in the future? So in the meantime, you can take a look at a couple of my other videos here. And this is Jim saying until next time, enjoy your comics.